Welcome back, Crime Spies. Welcome to day 2 of goofing around and testing stuff and more. So today, there was quite a bit of news going around, and I thought I would just kind of peruse around and see what I should work on. And I also worked on a video. Rare Aussie, hello! Okay, Rare Aussie, do me a favor. Please? Can you put 3 of the exact same emojis in the chat? I want to see if I fixed the emoji wall. I will hold. I should put some glasses on. Welcome to day 2 of goofing around and testing stuff. I also need to see. Okay, thank you so much. And it didn't work. Oh, damn. Damn this technology. Okay, thank you for trying. Let me try one thing here. It was supposed to work. Emote wall. Where's the setting? Properties. Enabled. Combo required. Combo 3. Browser setting. Maybe I should hit this button. Let's see if that works. Okay, so it does make me, see, thank you for trying. They're supposed to bounce across the wall or across the thing. I wonder if I can show you if I can show you what I'm talking about. Let me add something here. Let's see, display capture. Let's try. Display capture. Let's see if this works. Ooh, it does. Okay, so, no, I want you're talking about, or you know what I'm talking about? Okay, so here, I don't know if you can see this. Oops, that's not what I wanted. Bum, bum, bum. Display capture. Okay, so here it says emote wall. And then you go to properties. Wonder if you can see this now. Yeah, see how the emote is? Like you can adjust like how big or small they are. They're supposed to float around the window like that and bounce around. And I did this combo required because I didn't want to have it, like if somebody put one emoji for that to fly across, like, you know what I mean? I've seen it on other channels before, so I have it set as 3. But it's not working. I'll do that maybe. Okay, now I hit the refresh. Okay, well that didn't work. Well, we're not going to monkey around with it, but now hopefully you know what I'm talking about. All right, so let's get back to business. Let's see. I watched a little bit of the final day of the Zachariah Anderson rewatch trial on Solomon's new channel. And it was more frustrating. Maybe I can customize it. Yeah, see, I watched. This is another thing. If I had a copious amount of free time, what I would probably do is I would probably make some videos, because I cannot tell you how many times I have tried to figure something out and then you can't seem to find a video to tell you how to do it. So there's this guy. So, okay, so the software actually, it used to be a different way to do it where you'd have to have a browser window open and then put the emote wall in there after you've enabled it. But now the way that the desktop software works, like it's just a widget. Oh, here, I could show you something else too. Okay, so over here, there's widgets. Let's see if it'll work while I'm on here. Maybe it won't work. Just watch, it'll get stuck. Oh, this would be very bad. Okay, widgets. There's all kinds of like, scene overlay widget themes, site over, that's not what I wanted. But like you can have, oh dear, now where did you go? You can have like little spin wheels. And I also enabled something, it's like a loyalty thing. So the more people watch, you know, the more hours that people watch, they get points. And with certain points, you can earn like prizes or like, I don't know. Like I could give away like jewelry or, you know, gift cards or something maybe. I don't know. So I was kind of toy around with that. But then like people can earn like loyalty badges, which I think are kind of like, you know how like if you're like a subscriber to somebody's channel, you can, yeah, wouldn't that be neat? So when I was monkeying around, I enabled loyalty, like the loyalty things. And then what you can do is you can actually like add points to certain people. But like right now I have it set up so like the more hours that people watch, the more points they get. And then at a certain level, like, you know, they can have like you can have like, I mean, I could send out like jewelry or stickers or, you know, window clings, t-shirts, mugs, you know, at certain levels. And it's just the way that they earn it is by watching, I guess. I don't know. I'll have to figure it out. So, but then there's like prize wheels. There's all kinds of things. I just want the stupid emote wall to work. Damn. So I watched this video today and the guy's like, well, yeah, you used to have to do this browser window thing. Okay, I know how to do that. Well, that didn't work. Or, you know, it doesn't, that's not necessary anymore. You can just, you know, add this widget thing. So I added that. And then like I was reading the comments underneath it and people are like, yeah, but I've tried that and that doesn't work. And then the guy that actually had the video that's had like 50,000 views on it, he's like, oh, that's weird. Maybe they had an update and there's a bug in it. So there's like basically no videos. All right, so now enough of my complaining. So I watched a little bit of that today. And then there was the Sade, that poor woman. They're still trying to find her parts, her body parts. She was murdered by some. Hi, this way up. How are you? Welcome. Welcome. Welcome to day 2 of goofing around and testing stuff. Day 2 of I still can't get my emote wall to work. You know, where the little emotes bounce around. It's not working. Hi, Wendy H. How are you? Welcome to day 2 of goofing around and testing stuff. So I was explaining about this loyalty thing that's on Streamlabs. So like people, the more that they watch, they get points. And then there's like, if you have a certain amount of points, you get like something for free. Like I could send out like a mug or jewelry or dish towels. The body parts on the train tracks. Yes. Here, let's go talk about that because I'm not sure. Let's see. I'm going to try this window here. Okay. Now, let me just do one thing here. I think I'm going to use this. Oh my God. So I was telling my daughter about that this morning. Sade Robinson is her name. Oh gosh. Okay, so here, let's put this up on this window up here. Let's just go over some of this. I'm not a fan of Nancy Grace, but let's see what she has to say. Let me go back to where I was. Hold on. Okay, so this Sade, okay, so if you were here yesterday, I touched a little bit on it. Sade Robinson, she was 19 years old. She was just like a month or so away from getting her associate's degree in criminal justice. She went on a date with this guy, Maxwell Anderson, in Milwaukee. She went on a date with him on April 1st. They decided to meet at his former employer restaurant because he needed to pick up his W-2s. And that was April 1st. Then April 2nd, nobody could find her. So it turns out that a few days later, this leg washed up in Milwaukee at a park. I have it on my Google Earth. I could pull it up. And it ended up, I don't know how they figured out, but it was, they're like, okay, well, it's, certain skin color matches like this missing person. She had pink toenails. And turns out it was her. So, and I don't know, like, I had just heard about it Monday night, like right before I went to bed. Yeah, DNA, maybe it was. And then yesterday, Gazella in the afternoon did a reporting on it. So I'm like, oh, I saw she was going live and she had a poll up before people got into the live stream and she said, have you heard about this? I'm like, no. And then the more I sat and stared at the picture, I'm like, wait a minute, I saw that briefly the night before. So there were certain people on the chat and I'm like, okay, well, I'm off done, working now, so I can, share it on my channel too. Hope Ain't Fear is here. Hi. She's one of the people I told on Gazella's live stream. I'll share it with my people too. We're talking about Sade. Isn't that so sad? So I was telling my daughter today about it. I'm like, did you get my message yesterday afternoon? Because she had to go to work and then, she stayed at her boyfriend's house. And I'm good, Hope Ain't Fear. Hope Ain't Fear, I met her in Gazella's chat. And we started following each other on Twitter and sharing stuff about this story. I'm so glad you're here, Hope Ain't Fear. And actually, so let me get back. So Lily was at work yesterday afternoon, and then she stayed at her boyfriend's house last night. She didn't come home until, midday or so today. And I'm like, did you get my message yesterday about this girl out in Milwaukee? And she's like, no. So I started telling her about it, and I started to cry. It is so heartbreaking. This beautiful girl. And then I was telling her about the what was it, like a beach towel or like a memory blanket? Hope Ain't Fear would probably know. But in the chat yesterday, when Gazella was going over the story, there was this like blanket and it had Coco Chanel on it. And then I didn't see right away, but it had pictures on it. I'm like, oh, I've got to go avert my daughter's eyes because she loves Coco Chanel. Turns out she wasn't here. A blanket, yeah. And someone in the chat, I don't know if Hope Ain't Fear, if you remember who it was, but they're like, no, that was a memory blanket for her dog that had died. I mean, it just gets awful. So this poor mother, so I predominantly wanted to go over this on my goofing around and testing stuff part 2, because I've been kind of out of the loop for a while with tax season. And so I was listening to the last day of the Zachariah Anderson trial rewatch, and there's, for those of you who watched that trial, Myra is out there in Wisconsin in Kenosha. And I said, Myra, because we were talking about how, heartbreaking that because they were rewatching like the closing arguments and the verdict and the sentencing today. And I'm like, oh, I can't watch the verdict read again. It was so hard the first time. And then she goes, yeah, I know it's really, emotionally draining. And I said, well, now I'm focused on this Sade Johnson girl, and you're out in Kenosha. Do you know anybody in Milwaukee that can reach out to the family and help her? They found the leg. And then I was telling Lily today, there's that train track that was right behind the house, and there's a leg, and apparently some of her parts were on the train tracks. I'm wondering, did he put her on the tracks and watch her get run over before he went and dispersed her around? Are we thinking that's where the story is going? That makes it even worse. Oh, it's just, I can't believe people. So Myra said her brother lives in Milwaukee, but he's unable to, go help. So I'm like, well, send prayers and then share this story around. I mean, these people, they need help, finding her. And there was a neighbor that was interviewed on something I saw earlier today that I'll find for you. And she was interviewed in the car, and she's like, the family can't have a burial for her until they, finish looking for her. I mean, this is awful. What is wrong with people? At least they arrested the guy. So Hope 8 Fear says, I haven't seen Nancy's interview yet with her mother. Well, let's start with that. So I wanted to start off with that story. And then the two other things I wanted to go over are the two women on the solar eclipse. So the solar eclipse, I saw this last night before I went to bed. There was a woman out in Los Angeles on the day of the solar eclipse. She was like astrology influencer, social media influencer, astrology. And so they showed, how people have like panels on their, where there's multiple people. And apparently the day of the solar eclipse, she started off the day by stabbing her. I read in one report it was a boyfriend, one report it was her husband. Stabbed him to death. Then she put her 8-month-old baby. Hi, you're wrong. Hello. Look at all these beautiful faces. Hello. So this woman, she started off the day in California, stabbing her boyfriend or husband, depending on which article you're reading. Then she put her 8-month-old baby and her 9-year-old daughter in the car. She chucked them both out of the car. The baby died instantly or on the scene. The 9-year-old miraculously only suffered minor injuries and is expected to survive. And then about a half an hour later, she crashed her car into a tree at 100 miles an hour and died. That was one. So I was going to work on that also today. And then I couldn't remember what her name was off the top of my head. So I searched solar eclipse murder or solar eclipse. I can't remember. Turns out the same exact day of the solar eclipse, some lady from, I think it was Alabama, drove with an AR-15 style weapon and a 9mm firearm to Florida and started shooting at people. God. So there's actually two solar eclipse women, basically one on each coast. Oh. So those were the stories I was going to cover on my goofing around and testing stuff, because I still don't quite have things set up here. Just a moment here. I gotta see if I can move this. Isn't that awful? Isn't that just terrible? What is wrong with people? Is it like the drugs that are making people all crazy? Or is it just because of, hi, chain of custody? How are you? Look at all these wonderful, beautiful faces and names. At least she's in hell instead of sitting pretty in a. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. So I wanted to show you those stories, but first of all, I really did want to focus on this Sade Robinson. And again, like I kind of mentioned yesterday, um, that I'm wondering. Well, there's a fourth story. If I have time, I would really like to go over also the missing moms. So I'm wondering if the Sade Robinson's crime got stifled by the two missing moms out of Kansas City that they arrested those 4 people for that we talked about yesterday. They were arraigned today, so I wanted to kind of get to that story too. It's hard to say what pushes people to do things. I don't know. Or is it just because, you know, the way social media works and it spreads like wildfire, if we're just hearing more about it, or because, we're all kind of in the, true crime community, if we're just seeing it more. I mean, has it always been this bad? I told Lily today, I said, holy cow, there's just like, as soon as you get your arms wrapped around one story and what's going on. I mean, remember yesterday I was trying to explain all the people in that missing moms case, and half their names are the same practically. And I said, just when you get your arms wrapped around one horrifying crime, something else happens. And then you've got that Karen Reed thing going on there in jury selection. You got the Chad Daybell trial going on. Ugh. So, hi, Farrell. How are you? True crime never sleeps, unfortunately. Isn't that the truth? So, I guess what we try to do is, reach out to people. And I think the main thing is if anybody knows anybody over in Milwaukee, let's help this Sade Robinson family. So the first thing we're going to do, so that's kind of an overview of what we're doing. We're goofing around and testing stuff. Hopefully my microphone is a little bit better today. We know the emote wall doesn't work. So the first thing we're going to talk about is, is this, is this just like the audio of it? Let's see what happens. I don't hear it.
It is Ryan here, and I have a question for you. What do you do?
Okay, let's try to find the actual video.
Different. We're my parents.
Okay, so this is just a clip. I'm gonna try to find the longer video of it. I wonder if it's on like Hulu. Isn't Nancy Grace on like Hulu or HBO Max or something? So this is the mother of Sade Robinson. Look at her beautiful face.
Sade is beautiful, beautiful soul. I knew that my kids were very special and different. My parents raised me. They raised us. We are light workers.
She's on YouTube. Thank you.
We put out positive energy. We exert. We help others. I'm a community advocate. As a personal way of my life, the way I live, I've worked for others. I help others my whole life. I've raised my daughters that way. My daughters have excelled. I have 2 daughters. This has caused so much emotional effect to my family. My parents who love my baby so much, her grandparents, her uncles, her aunties, the community. Everyone has pulled up. This has affected many people in Milwaukee. I'm coming here today. This is the hardest thing I would ever have to do in my life, to speak Sade's voice. Sade was a beautiful soul. She was an amazing girl. Nancy, everything you spoke was exactly what my daughter exerted.
Oh, okay. We'll find that. Thank you, Hope Aid Fear. I'll look for her over on the YouTubes and we'll pull that up. something else that kind of dawned on me. You know, as a parent of 4 kids, and I'm assuming some of you out there are also parents, it's hard enough to be told that your son or daughter died, let alone murdered, let alone in pieces scattered around the city. It's horrible. What makes people do this? I don't get it. And Wisconsin, too. You know, we were just talking about earlier, you know, that Taylor Shabusiness. Remember her trial last year? She was like the second or third trial that I live streamed. And she chopped up Thad Sharon, I think was his last name. Thad, I think was his name. Oh my God. I can't imagine what this woman is going through as a parent. What a nightmare. Yeah, the Taylor Shabusiness trial. And that was Wisconsin too. What is it with the Wisconsin people? Okay, I'm going to pull this window down here and I'm going to try to find it. I'm not a fan of Nancy Grace. I'm not going to lie. She in my opinion, she kind of dramatizes things too much. This is where you put your heart out and you talk to the woman, the victim's parents, in a heart filled with compassion, and not looking at how many people are going to click on it and watch it. And his mother had to see her own, yes, chain of custody. The head was in the bucket at the bottom of the stairs. She forgot it. God. So Nancy, give me one moment, please. What was her name here?
Sade is beautiful.
So it is pronounced
Beautiful
Sade.
soul.
Sheena Scarborough.
Hi.
Okay, let's find that. So again, if you are in Milwaukee area, or you know somebody that's in the Milwaukee area, please share the story. You know, if you can't help, you can help by sharing the story. No matter where you live, you can help by sending prayers to the family. I'm sure there's some type of GoFundMe I probably should look for. Yeah, she found the bucket. Yeah, the Taylor Shad was his name. Shad. Yeah, she went downstairs because she heard Shabusiness's van fire up outside. She went downstairs and the lights were on. And she's like, what's this 5-gallon bucket with a towel on it? Beach towel on it. Lifted it up and there's her son's head and other bits in the bucket. God. Sheena Scarborough. Bro. Okay, so it is Sade. Oh, I can't spell. It is Sade, like the singer. The lady at the news conference yesterday was calling her Sade. Okay, so this is from 6 days ago. Wait, I gotta put it back down here. That light is awful bright in my eyes. Let's see. That's also 6 days ago. All right, well, let's put this up on the screen. Thank you, Hope Age Fear, for telling me she was on.
Bombshell tonight.
Oops, stop. Videos. I'm pretty sure Nancy Grace is on, like. Oh, here it is. I found it. Hope Age Fear, you are my hero for today.
I really like these bras. I have 4 of them now.
Oh, that's wonderful.
I normally wear a 34 double.
Okay.
Sade is beautiful. Beautiful
All right,
soul.
so this is the full interview.
I know that my kids were very special.
It's 5 minutes. Okay, so David, can we lower it about 10 feet? What is he talking about? Okay. All right. So we're gonna listen to this. Thank you again, Hope Ate Fear, for telling me this is on Nancy Grace.
This is beautiful, beautiful song. I knew that my kids were very special and different. My parents raised me, they raised us. We are light workers. We put out positive energy, we exert, we help others. I'm a community advocate as a personal way of my life, the way I live.
Oh,
I've worked for others, I help others my whole life. I've raised my daughters that way. My daughters have excelled. I have 2 daughters.
wonder how many kids she
This has
has.
caused so much emotional effect to my family, my parents who love my baby so much, her grandparents, her uncles, her aunties, the community. Everyone has pulled up. This has affected many people in Milwaukee. I'm coming here today. This is the hardest thing I would ever have to do in my life, to speak Sade's voice. Sade was a beautiful soul. She was an amazing girl. Nancy, everything you spoke was exactly what my daughter exerted.
Well, how come they didn't put the
I couldn't
beginning
have
on?
asked for any better daughter. There was things my daughter did that many adults were not even able to accomplish in their lifetimes. And I'll be 43 in a week. My birthday's on April 27th.
Oh God, and it's before her birthday. So if you're just joining us, the first story we're covering today is the 19-year-old out in Milwaukee, Sade Robinson. This is her mother speaking with Nancy Grace. Thank you, Hope Ate Fear, for pointing me in the right direction. This happened on April 1st. She went on a first date with this guy, Maxwell Anderson, blonde, shaggy-haired man. They met at his former employer for a bite to eat. And the next day, she was missing. Turns out her leg washed up on a shore in a park. And they're still to this day looking for the rest of her. So if you know anybody in the Milwaukee area that can maybe help, reach out to this mother here.
Sade's birthday's on May the
Share
10th.
the
I had her on
story.
Mother's Day.
Look
The
at her
son of a...
face.
I'm gonna watch my language on this platform. The son of a took my daughter from me a month before she's graduating with her Associate of Arts degree. She works so hard. She's a full-time student. She has 2 full.
She was getting her degree in criminal justice, her associate's degree. She was 1 month. One thing I noticed, because I was using this picture today, see this scar here? I wonder what this is. This is like a scar, a bad one. Okay, let's continue.
Me. A month before she's graduating with her Associate of Arts degree. She works so hard. She's a full-time student. She has 2 full-time jobs. She has her own little bachelorette apartment. She doesn't stay in a college dorm campus. She has her own bachelorette apartment. She has her own car. She pays all of her own bills. This is traumatizing, Nancy. I never expected this to pull up on my front door. This isn't normal. This is a 2024 Jeffrey Dahmer. I need him held accountable. I need justice for Sade. There has been a lot of, many black and brown girls that have been gone missing in Milwaukee. For a moment, and all of...
Okay, I didn't want to say anything. I kind of have the Dan Bongino rule when it comes to social media buzz that happens after a story breaks or news breaks on a story. But this is like the second or third time that I heard from, actually I tagged Gazella this morning on a post I had found from Sade's, I believe it was her cousin, who had said that there was another girl a few years ago that went missing from the same place that Sade worked. And also, like I said, I don't want to spread misinformation, but there's been a few stories now saying it was targeted. Boy, I hope that's not the case. Hi, Christine. How are you? They do. Yes, you're wrong. They do have the guy. They arrested him. I thought he had an arraignment maybe today. June is here. Hello, June. Welcome to day 2 of goofing around and testing stuff. We're going over the news. Nancy Grace is covering this case. Yes, we are listening. We're about halfway through an interview the mom did. But I just wanted to pause it for a moment and just say, I like to follow the Dan Bongino rule when it comes to news. And now she's mentioning the fact that there's a lot of girls that have gone missing. Wouldn't that be something if this guy is like you can see your emoji now? I had, well, let's finish the story. I don't think my emoji wall is working.
We're going to be held accountable now because they mess with the wrong family.
Let's just listen to that part again.
They mess with the wrong family because we're in a moment for this isn't normal. This is a 2024 Jeffrey Dahmer. I need him held accountable. I need justice for Sade. There has been a lot of many black and brown girls that have been gone missing in Milwaukee for a moment, and all of them are going to be held accountable now.
We gotta find out what
they
that
mess
is.
with the
Yes,
wrong
this
family.
is the mom.
They mess with the wrong family because we're not going to sit quiet and we're not going to sit still. And we're going to call all of them out and we're going to speak for the whole community. Because I'm not about to sit down and I'm not about to sit still on this one. It's justice for Sade, Nancy.
Yep.
It's justice.
Miss Scarborough, I feel like anything I or anybody on this panel could say right now,
my God.
it pales compared to what you just said. And believe me, Miss Scarborough, this story of Sade has not just touched people in Milwaukee. It has touched people around the world.
I bet.
And when you say you're not going to sit back, neither are we until there is justice for your girl and the other missing and murdered girls across Milwaukee. They're not all just missing. They're dead. Many of them are dead.
I just got chills up and down my body.
So pissed.
Guys, with me is Sade's mother, who is in so much pain, but she is joining us tonight to speak out for Sade. What happened? What led up to this night?
Yes, Nancy. Yes. Nancy, the last time I spoke to my daughter was on Easter Sunday, okay?
Just one moment. I want to pause one moment. June asked, spoiled brat killer, who named the killer? Okay, so the guy that's been arrested for this, his name is Maxwell Anderson. His father is apparently a very successful insurance man. I want to say it's like American Family Insurance in Milwaukee. His bail was set at $5 million, and then they were trying to reduce it to $500,000. Which they're thinking if it gets down to 500,000, the dad probably can post that because apparently he's a very successful insurance man. I had said in Gazella's chat yesterday, how in the world would he even be eligible for bail on this? So that's why apparently they're calling him spoiled brat. I don't particularly care for these names. Yesterday, when Gazella was going over this story in her live stream, somebody in the chat had pointed out the victim, like they'd called it something awful pertaining to the fact that her leg was severed. Now, I gotta say, I am actually surprised that Nancy Grace is behaving the way she should. Oh, yeah. Oh, no. No, well, I don't know. Why don't they just say, why do they have to sensationalize these horrifying stories? We got about half a minute left here with this.
We seen her. She came by my
Here, I'll just
parents'
rewind a
homes.
second.
Nancy, the last time I spoke to my daughter was on Easter Sunday, okay? We seen her. She came by my parents' home. We spent the Sunday together. This was Easter Sunday, okay? I cooked for them. Both of my daughters, we all met by my parents' house where I'm currently at. We all commute here. All my girls are busy. My youngest is 16. They have a lot of activities. They're
Look at her
working. They go to
face.
school. I have very successful and independent, self-sufficient daughters.
Oh, not commercial. This must be the end.
The all-new.
I gotta find that whole thing. Let's see what happens after this. I think they only give us a snippet. I swear it's on like HBO Max or something. When she was 19 years old. Yeah, see, look. I need to find. Let me bring my window back down here. I'm pretty sure either Hulu.
I know that my kids were very special and different. We're
Hulu or Max or Peacock or somebody has that Nancy Grace show. I actually watched Nancy Grace about the Kansas ladies. Yeah, they had their arraignment today. That was another story I wanted to go over. Let's... Oh, that's just awful. So again, if you have an opportunity on your social media, please share this story on your social media. The hashtag is Justice for Sade Robinson, spelled Sade Robinson. And I know Gazella yesterday was using pink hearts. So, like this. If you could please do the pink hearts, and then it's hashtag Justice for Sade Robinson. Sade Robinson. Actually, what I'm going to do also is I'm going to post a link in the description box. I meant to do that because Gazella does such beautiful work on her channel. And she did a nice, probably good hour-long video yesterday breaking down this story. Like I said, I had just seen a little tiny article or post on Twitter before I went to sleep on Monday night, and then yesterday afternoon. All right, let's just go through some of these. I had to move that light. So I did find out that there was, I thought that they had gone to search the house again. Okay, this I'm not sure who that channel is, so I'm just going to skip that until I have edited it. Oh, here's pink ribbons. Lockhart TV Media says, in honor of Sade Robinson, we're asking for pink ribbons in front of everything, light poles, trees, etc. Say her name, Sade Robinson. Justice for Sade. Oh, let me show you. For those of you that haven't seen the story, the other day there was a pink out. Let me find that video for you. Oh, here, let's look at this.
He tricked her, she tricked him. They tricked each other so well that they were their equal opposite evil match for each other.
Sade Robinson. The beautiful, vibrant, 19-year-old college student was a beloved daughter, sister, and friend. On April 1st, her life was cut tragically short in the most unthinkable way. Police say Sade Robinson was murdered, her body dismembered, and her car set on fire. All this after a first date, a dinner together at a seafood restaurant. Beautiful Sade Robinson never made it back home. Police say that they have their suspect behind bars. The man who went on that date with Sade. His name is Maxwell Anderson. And if what police say he did is true, this guy is a monster from down below. And if he killed her and dismembered her body, may he pay dearly for the crimes with the harshest penalties the law allows.
Yeah. Okay,
you know, this morning, my friends, I'm thinking about...
Yes, Farrell had a very funny comment earlier. We need to give them names they wouldn't like. Tiny Pecker Killer. I like that. Hope 8 Fear. Yeah, that's... We have to interject a little humor now and then into this tragedy. I forgot that he set her car on fire. I forgot that part.
How this case is still being investigated, and much of Sade Robinson's remains are sadly still missing this morning. I can't even begin to imagine the heartbreak and the agony that her family is going through right now. This is just the beginning of the criminal case, but it's also just the beginning of a lifetime of pain for her family. May they find some comfort in knowing that people all around the world are sending them love and light, honoring and remembering their beloved Sade.
I do want to say, though, I am really disgusted. I mean, this is kind of like what this community does is it's, you know, justice for the victim. It's sharing information. It's giving people, you know, the correct version of the story and not fueling the rumor fires. And to me, this happened 2 weeks ago. He's been arrested, I think, since April 4th. It's April 17th. And a lot of you haven't really heard about it. And like I said, I just stumbled across it Monday night. Why is it taking so long? If they're still looking for her, like I said, maybe that missing mom's Kansas thing overshadowed. I don't know.
May she get justice, and may she rest in peace. That's my opening statement on this Wednesday morning. Let me know if you like it. Right now, it's time for your daily docket.
Tonight I figured out who I feel like.
Okay. I should have maybe vetted this before. That's why we're doing goofing around and testing stuff. I should have maybe vetted this before. I'll do a longer video. I do want to show you the pink out. Just to show you how wonderful and beautiful. Look at her beautiful face. And this piece of shit. You know, that's another thing that kind of bothers me. Yeah, you can shame the guy, but let's not put him anywhere near her face. He's already... Here. This is what I wanted to show you. So the community came together, and the home that he lived in, this Maxwell Anderson lived in, the community came together and painted it pink, the house. Now, apparently, all of this pink is now gone. Jamie's here. Guess what Jamie's favorite color is? It's pink. I'm wearing pink. My chair is pink. I got a new chair. Arraignment on April 22nd. Hope 8 Fear, you are an angel. Sent to me through Gazella's angel heart, too. Let's go. So this was called a pink out.
Hi, Raina. Put them in the grass.
So they went to this guy's house. And
Blow some balloons up, y'all.
They littered his whole entire yard with pink.
Don't drink too much soda.
Isn't this something else?
iPhone light's good though.
Oh.
Aww.
Let's watch that again. His whole house. Pink. They wrote on his fence. Oh, look at her.
Let's go. Hey, Raina.
I don't know what drives people to do this.
Put them in the grass.
I tell you what, you know what I'm going to be doing tomorrow?
Blow some balloons up, y'all.
Tomorrow I'm going to be doing some investigating on what she said about how there's many women in the Milwaukee area that are missing.
iPhone light's good though.
She called it the Jeffrey Dahmer 2024.
Aww.
Oh, this is terrible. So again, we're going to go over to some of, court date. Oh, yes. And Hope 8 Fear, the arraignment for this piece of shit, Maxwell Anderson, is April 22nd. There was something else I saw. Here, this is it. This is like a compilation from TikTok.
Tell me you'll see.
I saw this morning too.
Make me strongest. So tell me you'll be. I just can't stand to see you leaving.
Oh my God.
I couldn't wait for you.
Oh my God. I also told Lily today, I said, you know, because they're on TikTok and I refuse to go on TikTok. And I said, when you see stories like this, you need to tell your mother. Although they had not heard of this either. So please share the story. I'm going to try to find that Nancy Grace. I'm guessing it's on HBO Max or something. And I'm guessing that there's a reason why they only put 5 minutes on. And I'm guessing I can get around it by putting it on Kick. Anything else? Oh, and this is Gazella's thing from yesterday. So I have to remind myself now to put her link. She does just such a beautiful job on all of her things. Oh, there's me communicating with Hope 8 Fear yesterday. So, all right. Now, the next story. I think I'm going to skip. Well, we'll see how it goes. The next story I want to go over is, I have to bring the window back down here. So share the Justice for Sade Robinson with the pink hearts and pink ribbons. If you know anybody in the Milwaukee area that can help with the search. I know they're still asking for assistance if you know anything about the crime. I mean, even though that the guy's, you know, he's arrested, but they are still looking for, I swear to God, I saw something this morning how they obtained another search warrant to go back to his house and search. It's terrible. Okay. So what I wanted to do next is go over the story of this woman in LA, the woman that went crazy during the solar eclipse. What was her name? Los Angeles. Murder. Danielle Johnson. Okay, let me just find okay, so I'm going to tell you a secret. I have the computer read me the articles, and for for Zachariah Anderson, I use the Andrew voice, and for everything else, I think her name is Ava. And she read me the articles this morning, but she mispronounced a few things. Let's see if this is the one I looked at. Okay. Immersive reader. I will read it. Gotta find my window down here. All right. So this is the woman I told you about who on the day of the solar eclipse decided to, well, I'll just read the article. Astrologer suspected of double murder suicide on eclipse day thought apocalypse is here. A Los Angeles woman who police say fatally stabbed her partner before throwing her 2 children out of her moving car was an astrologer who posted days earlier that the eclipse is a form of spiritual warfare and the apocalypse is here. Hi, Murph's Turf. I hate this story. Okay, so Murph's Turf, when I was looking for, to read up on it this morning, the article, so I get my arms wrapped around it, I couldn't remember her name. Turns out the day of the solar eclipse, some lady in Florida I think she was from Alabama. She went to Florida and started shooting people. Thankfully, she only grazed one person in the arm and didn't kill anybody. So there's 2. And I didn't even search for more than that. Danielle Johnson, 34, who went by the alias Danielle Ayoka? Yeah, the other lady's name, I have it saved on my computer. I'll show you her next. Okay, so Danielle, 34, went by the alias Danielle Ayoka online and described herself as an astrologer who was responsible for what authorities say was a double murder suicide hours before the eclipse became visible in the area. And, okay, well, I'll go on to that in just a moment. Los Angeles Police Lieutenant Guy Golan confirmed to USA Today in an email that an account on X posting about the eclipse belonged to Johnson. Wake up, the apocalypse is here, she warned in a post on Friday. We'll click that link in a moment. Everyone who has ears, listen, your time to choose what to believe is now. Another post from the day before, this eclipse is the epitome of spiritual warfare. Get your protection on and your heart in the right place. Investigators are not looking at the eclipse as a possible motive for the crimes, Golan said. I read that earlier today and I thought, really? Unfortunately, both parties are no longer with us, and that makes uncovering the facts of the motive problematic. I don't know, maybe it's mental illness. He wrote to Johnson and her partner, Jalen Cheney, 29. Likely, we're simply not going to know all the things that factored into what motivated this heinous attack, Golan said. Investigators will continue to interview friends, family, and witnesses in an attempt to piece together events, he added. Police say the incidents began around 3:40 a.m. on Monday morning when Johnson stabbed Cheney at their residence in Woodland Hills, around 25 miles west of downtown Los Angeles. Authorities believe the pair had a verbal altercation that escalated into Johnson becoming violent, according to LAPD press release. Cheney died at the scene, and authorities believe Johnson fled in her car with her 9-year-old. Well, no, we know that. Fled in her car with her 9-year-old and 8-month-old daughters. Cheney's body was discovered around 4 hours later when neighbors noticed the front door was open and went to check on the family. The other article that I had Ava read to me was better than this one. I should have copied out what that was. Investigators believe Johnson pushed the 2 children out of the vehicle as it sped down the 405 freeway less than an hour later. The 9-year-old was taken to a nearby hospital with moderate injuries, while the younger child was pronounced dead at the scene. So this 9-year-old girl survived being thrown out of the car. At least there's a miracle in that. Investigators say a short while later, Johnson crashed her car into a tree while she was speeding at more than 100 miles per hour down a Redondo Beach road. According to police, she did not survive the crash. Somebody said earlier, I forget which one of you smart people it was. At least she's not sitting in prison on the government's money. I think it was, I want to say it was You're Wrong. I don't know, you're also smart. So at least, you know, she saved us some grief there. Oh, yeah. Undiagnosed, untreated mental illness is at its yeah. But I tell you, I think it's the drugs too. Everything is laced these days. I mean, you don't honest to God, I don't know if I would go buy food at like a state fair. Who knows what people have put into it? She isn't. Oh. Makes sense. I mean, come on. The article I read, so the 9-year-old was holding the baby. She let go of the baby when the mom pushed her out of the car. I did not read that in the Ava article this morning. Oh my God. Golan said LAPD officers linked the 2 incidents after they learned of the 2 children left near the highway from California Highway Patrol. Oh my God. A personal website linked to Johnson's X account, where she had more than 100,000 followers, identified her as a certified, what's that, Reiki master teacher, who is also trained in over 10 different alternative healing modalities. Okay, I am a very strong advocate for holistic medicine. But, so that little girl, remember, yeah, she's 9 years old, the one that survived. They said she only had minor injuries. Oh, like I said, these kind of stories, you got to just share around because, you know, who's taking care of that little girl? You know, is she going to have any ongoing medical issues that need to be addressed? What kind of therapy is she going to need? Her whole family was unalived. Oh, according to 2016 Refinery 29 article that quoted her astrological advice, Johnson made astrology her day job at 23. She built an online spiritual support network on her website, which allowed members to have their auras and energies cleansed for a small price per month. I wonder who was responsible for cleaning her aura and energies. Oh my God. Oh. Yeah, she will need love and lots of therapy. This is just horrible. So I wanted to show you her. Oh my God. Here. Here's her post. Mystical lipstick. No, mystic lipstick. Mystical. I can't see that far. I put too close contacts in. This eye's supposed to see distance, and I put the close-up one in both. Oh, she's a recording artist, astrologer, Reiki master. Isn't that like a chakra kind of thing? Teacher. She's got an Etsy shop. She lives on Venus. 103,000 followers. So pinned, April 5th. Wake up, the apocalypse is here. Everyone who has ears, listen. Your time to choose what you believe is now. If you believe a new world order, a new world is possible for the people right now. If you believe a new world is possible for the people right now. There is power in choice. There is power in choice. Repost to make the choice for the collective. Readers added context they thought might be. The solar eclipse did not bring an apocalypse. Oh my God. What? Okay. The solar eclipse did not bring an apocalypse. Danielle Johnson, known as Akoya, suffered an unfortunate mental break that led to a murder-suicide of herself, her partner, and her 8-month-old child as a result of her conspiracy theory. Did you find this helpful? Oh my gosh. I do have to say I do like these community note things. Holy crap. There's 1.98 thousand likes. I just heard about this last night, like late last night. Oh, and then she wrote on underneath it, "We can do this. We can do it. We can do it. We can do it. Can do it. Believe. You magic in what you believe. I believe we can be free. I believe we can be free." Wonder if that's what she was screaming as she drove her car into a tree. I'm a poet and didn't know it. Don't drink the Kool-Aid, Lord have mercy. Yes. Wow. Oh, this gal here, I entertained some of her astrology posts in the past when she went dark. Super weird, like many real conspiracy theorists. Please protect your minds, people. Don't need to be going down rabbit holes, reading things that will F with your mind. You will eventually lose it. Okay, now I am known to wear a tinfoil hat on occasion, but I certainly wouldn't jump on this apocalyptic solar eclipse bandwagon. So there's that. Now, gotta bring this down here, and let's talk about the gal in Florida. What was her name now? Here we go. This one actually has, I believe, a video. Oops. Women claiming God told her to go on shooting spree because of solar eclipse shoots drivers on Florida interstate, police say. That's not it. Oh dear. And oh. A woman checked out of a Florida hotel and told staff she was going on a God-directed shooting spree because of the solar eclipse. She told the people at the hotel that. Then shot 2 drivers on Interstate 10 before being arrested and charged with attempted murder Monday, according to Florida Highway Patrol. This was a week ago. Talon Nichelle Celestine, 22, of Georgia, entered the highway 115 miles from the Alabama border in the Florida Panhandle and headed west. She was driving a purple Dodge Challenger with Georgia plates, officials said. Within 5 miles, she fired into a passing car several times, spraying auto glass and grazing the driver in the arm, the department said in a statement. She then fired at a second vehicle, hitting the driver in the neck. The driver was injured and treated at the hospital. Thank God she didn't kill anybody. And then this is the photo of the car with the holes in it. Troopers stopped the woman after she drove for about 16 miles. 16 miles and found her with an AR-15 rifle and a 9mm firearm. She was arrested and booked into the Holmes County Jail. She was charged with attempted murder, aggravated battery with a deadly weapon, and improper discharge of a firearm. The Florida Highway Patrol did not provide details about bail or Celestine's legal representation. Florida was not... I remember this from when Ava read it to me. Florida was not in the total solar eclipse path of totality, but millions watched the eclipse as it worked its way across a swath of the country. So they had to put that in. Remember the other article said, we cannot confirm that the solar eclipse caused the apocalypse. And this one is like, even though this happened in Florida, they were not in the path of the totality. The officials did not warn of any expected spike in crime during the eclipse. Experts did caution that rare event could cause an uptick in fatal car crashes. The U.S. saw a temporary but substantial increase in deadly car crashes during North America's previous solar eclipse in 2017. Researchers said in a letter published by the journal JAMA Internal Medicine. It is unclear if there were any fatal crashes related to the eclipse on Monday. I mean, please. I guess you guys have to pay for her now for... yeah. Oh my gosh. Chakras not aligned equals epic fail. So I have like my little crystals and my, precious stones. Actually, well, I'm not going to bore you with me hunting and pecking. I've got some amethyst over here and some pink quartz. I don't know. My grandmother was a nutritionist, apple tree-ish kind of thing. All right. The last thing I wanted to do during day 2 of goofing around and testing stuff while we go over the news. You're all about crystals. Oh my gosh, I love them. And then I have a one of my daughters, well, they're all actually into like, they'd rather try to fix an ailment on their own, by, drinking a lot of water, going on a V8 fast, like the last resort we ever do is go to the doctor. Like I have to be like almost on death's door, which has happened actually a couple times, I think, before I go. But, they're surprisingly healthy. The girls they're 17. They'll be 18 in August. They've only been on an antibiotic once. And I think my son only twice. Because he had ear infections when he was little. And then we did the colloidal silver in the ear. My grandma said, put some of that in his ear. And he never had another one. He was like one ear infection away from getting tubes in his ears. And that stuff works crazy. But don't do like the lady on the Cult of Mother God. She was like drinking it like, water. It's not intended for that. Um, Black Opal years ago paid for my first home. Really? A black opal? I didn't even know there was such a thing as a black opal. Oh my gosh, that's like a whole nother rabbit hole. The essential oils and the crystals. So my one daughter, she goes in, if there's a full moon, she puts spring water outside because we go get our water at the spring up the street. And she makes moon water and she puts like something on a piece of paper underneath the bowl. It has to be a crystal bowl. I'm like, what are you doing? She's like, I'm going to make moon water. Oh, this is when, okay, so for those of you that are familiar with Crime Spies, we've had some challenges as the girls have gone through their teen years. And there was that time, in the like, let's just say 12, 13 to like 16-ish, 16 and a half-ish stage, where I had to buy the front door had 2 locks. Like you needed a key to get out of the house and to get in, like it's a double lock. And I've told you the Home Depot story where I brought them with me and I asked the guy at Home Depot, excuse me, sir, could you tell me how I can, or what you would recommend to keep my girls in my house? And I gave him a wink. And he goes, oh, I've got exactly what you're looking for. So I would like literally have that key on a chain around my neck. So she's like, Mom, can you let me outside of the house? I have to put my moon water outside. So anyway, one of the most expensive gemstones, more valuable than diamonds. I have never ever heard of a book. Where would you have found it? How did you even know? That's a very super interesting story. I'd like to hear more about that. But those like citrine. Okay, you're going to know all my secrets. Citrine is really good for headaches. I don't know, maybe it's a mind over matter thing. But like I put it in the middle of my forehead when I have a headache. But those your crystals and whatnot, they need to go and recharge in the sunshine. Lightning Ridge, Australia. Boy, that's fascinating. A black opal. Wasn't one of the Johnny Depp Pirates of the Caribbean movies something about the black opal? Oh. And let's see. What was I watching? I wonder if I can't remember what story it was, but the attorney for Ben Chu, the attorney for Johnny Depp, he was on a panel. I don't know, must have had to do with the missing moms case maybe. And Ben Chu said something at the very end. They were talking about alpacas. I think it was like Vinny Politano, something or other, that guy. And they had like some, I don't know, game at the end, like guess the correct part of the story. I don't know, something about alpacas. And Ben Chu had said something at the very, very end of the segment and said, I guess he had like an alpaca on his like lapel of his suit jacket. But he said something like, fingers crossed that Johnny Depp is going to resume his role as Captain Jack Sparrow on the Pirates of the Caribbean series. So I don't know if that's in the works or what. I've never seen all of those movies. I think I've seen like 1 or 2. All right, there's one more thing I'd like to do on day 2 of goofing around and finding out, or goofing around and testing stuff. I think I'm going to actually give up on that emote wall thing. And nobody's really complained about the microphone today, so maybe I fix that. Fingers crossed. Hopefully by this weekend, we'll be back to just like normal episodes. I haven't seen any of those movies either. Yeah, I want to say I've only seen like 1 or 2. Mike is much better today. Thank you so much, Murph's Turf. I think I know what I did, actually. Okay. So, for those of you that watched the Zachariah Anderson trial, I was trying to sing a song the other day, and I was messing around with my microphone, and I was trying to sing, what was it? I don't remember now. It doesn't matter. But I was trying to replace the lyrics, so I was trying to sing into the microphone over the top of the video. Oh, I know what it was. I Love to Hate You. That's what it was for Gravely, the prosecuting attorney. And I think what I did is I was like, there's like buttons on here, and I think I turned it up too much. So I apologize for yesterday. That's why we're goofing around and testing stuff. I think we're almost back in action. That's good. All right, the last thing I wanted to show you was it Brian Enton? Okay, so those 4 people that were arrested for the missing moms, the Tiffany Adams and Tad Cullum and Cole and Cora Twombly. I mean, that's kind of a tongue twister of a name. Cole and Cora Twombly. They had their arraignment today, and apparently the people in the gallery were calling them all kinds of horrible things. So let's go over them. Well-deserved horrible things. Tiffany Adams. Might have. Okay, I want to do the one that was after. Was that Brian Enton? Oh, and Gazella posted, I think MB Inc. had found the video of Cole Twombly walking into the courthouse, and he was wearing stripes, and I'm like, oh, he looks pretty good in stripes. Okay, where is it? I want to say, no, it was, I think it was Stephanie. I'm looking. What if I put it on my page? Please hold. Ugh. This lady, maybe. Okay. Laura Ingle. So she was like boots on the ground, or no, she was like, wasn't there only like a few people down there reporting on this case too? Like, where is everybody? Oklahoma attorney representing Veronica Butler in her bitter custody battle has just released his first statement after his client disappeared. Attorney Garrett, boy, I can't see, my contacts are getting dry. Garrett has told me the following. This case highlights the conflict, stress, and magnitude of decisions that go into any child custody case. This was a case that was contentious from the beginning and had become increasingly contentious as time went on. I mean, it was going on for years, like 5 years. It's so uncomfortable, and I'm so deeply saddened by the loss of my client, Veronica. I know all she ever wanted was to be was to love her children. So yesterday, we had done that short interview on Chris Cuomo's, the friend of hers. And then he gets to a point where, you know how the pictures are kind of flashing in the background. She goes, "Oh, there's my friend's beautiful face." I mean, it's just heartbreaking. And then to come to find out that Jillian that accompanied her was not the normal lady that accompanied her. The normal lady that accompanied her was told by Tiffany, the grandma, "Oh, you can take a few weeks off." So she brought this other lady who I'm guessing she met through church, because some people are like, "Oh, her friend," and then other people say they were acquaintances. If she was a pastor's wife, I'm assuming they were, like, maybe she went to their church. Oh, it's terrible. Oh, here's a Gazella one. There's one that was saying all these terrible things. Like they were being shouted at from people in the gallery. All four are being held without bond, citing proof of evidence or presumption of guilt is great. Now, it's my understanding that they could be eligible for the death penalty in Oklahoma. Now, this guy, Maxwell Anderson, that is arrested for killing that beautiful Sade Robinson, there's no death penalty in Wisconsin. I know that's a very touchy subject with people, but in my opinion, if you unalive someone, you should be unalived in the same manner. That's the school I grew up with. Ugh. Maybe that would deter people from doing it in the first place. Oh, we have to pause for just one moment before we end this. Publicly Buzzed put this on. This guy brings some ocean water to his wife, who is unable to go touch the ocean. Look at that. He rubs it on her. Oh, there's goodness in the world. Thank you, Steve, Publicly Buzzed. Let's cleanse this feed with some good love. Oh my God, Steve is the best. I love him. He knows I love him. He actually said he loved me back in chat once. I took a screenshot of it. In case he forgets. My main issue with death penalty is that the system sometimes gets the verdict wrong. Yeah, there is that. There is that. I guess my opinion is, we can use the Zach Anderson case if you wanted to. But, there's no proof. There's just speculation. And on top of it, we know the media spins things out of control, as Dan Bongino says. The media likes to tell you a story, not the story. So, there's that. But in some cases where, Taylor Shabusiness comes to mind, this guy Maxwell Anderson comes to mind, there's no death penalty in Australia. I mean, like I said, I wrote a paper in college in my, I think it was my psychology, it was like my freshman year. And we had to write a paper on our position of the death penalty. And I remember back then I had even written, in my opinion, if you murder someone, if it's an accident, that's equally horrible. But if you intentionally, put someone on a train track and their body gets put in a bunch of different pieces and then you scatter those pieces all over, that's what should happen to you. I'm wondering if the coroner is going to be able to determine if she was alive. I'm pretty sure that had to have been what happened. I think that's how he should go if he's found guilty. There's other instances where there's, people go to jail. I'm still on the fence about that Bleefnick guy. I'm not sure he actually did it either. There's a couple of them. Ugh. Malicious intent. Yes, if it's malicious intent, well, yes. I mean, if it's like, I mean, they shouldn't be in jail if there's reasonable doubt. But for the like this Maxwell Anderson guy or like Jeffrey Dahmer, for example, those are people that, clearly were guilty. And in those cases, like I said, my position has been, they should, if they're found guilty, that they should suffer the same consequence. We have guys sitting in jail that have unalived 35 people because their imaginary friend, oh my God. Their imaginary friend told them to go do it. I don't trust law enforcement or DAs enough to give them that kind of power. There's that. Look at Gravely. I've said this for a long time. Look at that Megan Emerowitz. That was another one of the first trials I did. That was the only one I've ever seen where the judge actually righted the wrong verdict, in my opinion. You can't see the video now. Well, I think I actually might have had that on YouTube too. But when we watched the verdict come in for that one, the brother had something to do with it. And she was found guilty. A couple months later, there was like a 2-hour sentencing hearing. She spoke for a very long time, and the judge basically gave her time served and told her she has like certain mile markers. I'm pretty sure David from MLS, yes, he did. He had an interview with her after the verdict. But that's an example where the jury got it wrong, in my opinion, and the judge righted the wrong at sentencing. But there are so many instances where the DA's office treats these cases like sport. It's whatever they need to do for a win. There's law enforcement agencies. Some are good, some are bad. I know many Minneapolis police officers very well. But, and I know some people on the social media, law enforcement that are like, retired. They're not professors or what have you. And I've asked them, when law enforcement doesn't do their correct job, doesn't that look, it gives everybody a bad reputation. Oh, Megan Emerowitz is pregnant. Well, like I said, the judge gave her, in my opinion, I thought it was like time served. I mean, she basically got out, but she had to do certain things. She had to graduate, get her GED. She had to go to school. She had to go back and, talk with the judge, etc. And, but that was, like I said, there was plenty of reasonable doubt. I asked people, do you know that lye and water together have a thermonuclear reaction and can cause all those burns? Plus the dad had congestive heart failure. Who's to say that his poor circulation didn't contribute to the fact that those burns didn't heal? She's 18 years old. She was having a temper tantrum. It was an accident, in my opinion. The reason there isn't the death penalty in Australia because in 1968 a guy was hung for killing his own wife, and after the hanging they found a guy in jail who said he did it. Was there any proof of that? Oh. Yeah, well, Judge Chu with the taser cop lady was also a good judge. I didn't see that one. Kim Potter? I need to put a piece of paper here. Wow. Well, I think there are certain instances where people, wasn't there a show, like a documentary series about people that were innocent and got put to death? And then years later with like DNA found out that they weren't the actual person? I did find this thing here. It's right here. I wanted to show you about these women. So Brian Inton, Extremely emotional court hearing for 4 suspects accused of killing Kansas moms Veronica Butler and Jillian Kelly. Victims' family members had to be held back as suspects were brought into court. Family called Grandma Tiffany Adams a effing bitch as she entered, and the others, sorry pieces of shit. Bond was denied. Simply stranger, glad they denied bond. I tell you, she's a justice warrior to Angel's broken halo. You don't follow her on X. She's got a heart of gold. The guy told me the court, everything he did, and that he waited for the husband to go to work, and he told everything. Oh, they could have said worse, much worse. Sorry, pieces of shit. That's what I call pretty much everybody. There was Gazella covered this also today. Joe Giacalone. Joe Giacalone, not shocked. Rex Heuermann's attorney, Michael Brown, wants the SCPD's files on former Chief James Burke. It was only a matter of time. So he's got a short on this, and like I said, Gazella today did about an hour going over of this. I had put in the chat, but I think I did something and it escaped. But Joe Giacalone, about 4 months ago on his YouTube channel, interviewed the guy that wrote the book called Jimmy the King. I have it on audiobook. It is very good about James Burke. Oh, Joe Giacalone. I've clipped him a few times when I first met him. I'm like, I have no idea how to say this guy's name, so I'm just going to pretend I'm an Italian grandma. Joe Giacalone. And then he got a big laugh out of that. Does it look like Jackalone? It does not. So now that's what I say. Oh, and here's Gazella's Rex Heuermann thing. So I think that is all of the stories. Oh, here's the video of Cole Twombly walking into court. He looks good in stripes, doesn't he?
Cole, do you have anything to say to Jillian and Veronica's families?
Do you have any remorse? Did you do it? Murder those women?
Do you have anything to say to the children whose mothers were murdered?
Why?
Kind of looks like guacamole. He smirks. Well, in his mugshot, he's got the smirks going on in his mugshot too. Do I still have them on here? Yes, here they are. These pieces of shit. Tiffany Adams, Tad Cullum, Cora Twombly, and Cole Twombly. Now, according to my understanding, Cora and Cole... okay, we went over this yesterday. Just watch him screw it all up again. Cora has a 16-year-old daughter with the initials C.W. She was married to... I forget the dad's name now. Also starts with a C. So Cora and Cole are now married. The guy in the plaid shirt on the right with the mustache... They're married, but they had told Cora's daughter with another man that they were going on a mission. And apparently they were the ones that, like, when Veronica and Jillian were on their way to go meet at the abandoned building, that there was their normal meeting ground, it's my understanding Cora and Cole blocked the road so that they had to take a detour. And on that detour, they were ambushed by Tiffany and Tad, the two on the left. And Tiffany, the grandmother of Veronica's children, did you notice that her shirt, her red shirt here, you can't see it in this picture, but her shirt says prayers for, but you can't see below it. And I had written on, I don't know, somewhere in the interwebs, does that say prayers for Veronica and Jillian? Like, was she wearing one of those, you know, shirts that are made up when people are missing? Wouldn't that be something? So the guy on the far right, Cole Twombly, the one we saw walking in with the stripes, I don't know, is something messed up with his face? He's just got like a permanent smirk. It does look like the right side of his face is kind of messed up. Oh my word. Oh my gosh. When Gazella says, she's got the funniest phrases. Oh my word. And like she has different voices. It's so funny. They look like they're playing the accordion. Yeah, so death penalty. But I guess they had no qualms about going to help on this mission that they were on to go unalive Veronica and Jillian. And to be honest, it had to have been premeditated because Tiffany told the normal lady that was supposed to accompany Veronica not to take a few weeks off. And there was 3 other people that were court approved to go with her. So what's that all about? That's what I want to know. And also there's that like Bryce Grease or something. I still haven't had time to figure out how he fits into it. Premeditation. Yes. Ugh. Well, good. I'm glad people were shouting at them. They're pieces of shit. Oh, let's see if I can find it. The one other thing that's really important that I want to go over is Rachel Marin's mother. We watched a little clip of it yesterday. Let's see if I can find it. Okay, so if you wear contacts, you know how your eyes get kind of dry and then you got these big bright lights in your face? Latest. Okay, so where did I put it? Rachel Marin's mother. You know, the gal, the mother of 5. Where did I put it? Her mother just did a commercial that they're playing on the border. Oh, I know where it is. I know exactly where it is. I just want to show you this very quickly. Here. This is the woman we were talking about, the one that threw her children out of her car. And then she unalived her significant other. And then she drove herself into a tree. This is her face. Oh, this is another one I haven't had a chance to look at. This Sebastian Roberts story. Something is afoot with that one. Oh, okay, before I get to the Rachel Marin thing, this is another thing I wanted to show you that pertains to the Adams. It pertains to the God's Misfits, these people. This was yesterday.
I'm blown away that this even happened.
Okay, so Brian Inton, he's the account that I just read to you that said what people were shouting at the 4 people that were arraigned today. Brian Inton interviewed this guy. He's a judge. Let's just read the caption first. He interviews this guy, spoke with municipal judge Vincent Forbes. He knew Tad Cullum. Tad Cullum is the guy with the big, long, ZZ Top beard. Second from the left. One of the suspects accused of killing the Kansas moms. He was at Tad's house when the raid happened. Asked him about God's Misfits, the anti-government group suspects were in. We'll have more on News Nation. Now, after he interviewed this guy, underneath there, apparently after this interview, same day, the judge was asked to step down in his judgeship.
I never knew about it. The way I understand it is they got God behind them and they make their own laws. But now, again, that's hearsay. I never knew about them.
That's what you're hearing from other people in town.
That's what I'm hearing from other people. Yeah.
I think he's kind of lying.
I'll say it again. I'm blown away that this even happened. I just can't. Tad was a very good friend of mine. I'm not going to say was a very good friend of mine. He is a good friend of mine.
Oh, my.
But this just blew me away.
So this guy's a
judge. The way I understand it is they got God behind them and they make their own laws.
Okay, so
but now, again, that's
the 4 people that were arraigned now for the missing moms. They were part of a sovereign citizen compound, if you will. The beard like mine. Okay, so Dusty from ZZ Top rubbed his beard on me years ago when I was working at a bar downtown. It was surprisingly soft. Well, where Aussie, the thing is you have a heart and are compassionate. This guy here with the beard, not so much. Evil man. And the guy on the right with the dark like goatee, with the like messed up side of his face. Remember the police officer from Dumb and Dumber when he asked him to pull over? It's a cardigan, but thank you anyway. Thanks for noticing. Remember that? And then they made him drink the beer, but it wasn't beer. And then like he did that weird thing with his face. That's like what that guy's face is doing. Not so much. Tad got the evil from his mom. Oh, I haven't even gotten that far. Interesting. Huh. There's several different things I need to look at. The Sebastian thing. Hope Ate Fear. She must know about that. I had put that, when it gets late at night and I see something that looks like I should investigate, especially when it has to do with like missing people or, like this poor Sade girl, her mother. Too bad my channel's not really like large enough for me to say, would you mind coming on and having us pray for you? I know you do have a heart. Okay, so Rare Aussie joined Crime Spies not too terribly long ago. And he sat with me while we went through all the Jody Hildebrandt and Ruby Frankie videos and whatnot that were released when that document dump happened a few weeks ago. Oh, that's terrible too. What is wrong with people? Oh. So I did want to tell you a little bit. One more thing. It's the same thing we did yesterday, which was, here's that Sebastian. God. Rachel Marin's mother. Okay, so it's coming up here. I'm a busy girl. Here. What have I been saying since... Oh, you can't see. What have I been saying since the suspect video released? So we're just going to watch this one more time for those that missed it yesterday.
Randolph, you said that this commercial is being released in Maryland, in Los Angeles, and in towns...
The mother of Rachel Marin, can you believe it has been since the beginning of August of last year that her daughter was killed and they still haven't found him? And I had said, when I did the press conference live the night that this video that they show with him leaving the door, and I had said right off the get-go, how in the world did he get from Los Angeles, California in March, where the door cam video caught him leaving the home where he had assaulted a young girl whose DNA matched the DNA found on Rachel Marin? They know it matches, but they don't have a name to it. How does he get all the way from Los Angeles, California, and preys on a young girl there, clear across the country 5 months later, to murder this beautiful mother of 5? How does that happen? And I said, did he come through our porous border, perhaps? I mean, he looks Hispanic. They said that. He's 5'9", Hispanic, 210, or whatever it is. Where is he? So this came out just the other day, and the mother, in collaboration with, I don't know, her attorney or law enforcement or border patrol, whatever, made this video that they're playing in border, cities that are around the border, trying to see, did he go back to Mexico? Where is he? So I just wanted to play this for you.
Along the southern border, is this because you think he might have escaped into Mexico?
Well, that's certainly one suspicion that we have. We know he's an Hispanic male. We know he has the propensity to travel from California to Maryland.
That's what I've been saying this whole time.
Make logical sense that he may be willing to travel out of the country. And therefore, we're running the ads along those border towns through Instagram and Facebook with the hope that somebody might have seen him either if he came across or if he went back.
So we have, Randolph, we have his DNA, but obviously it doesn't match anybody in the DNA data bank in the United States, correct? Has it been checked with Interpol or any international agencies?
They have not indicated that to the Sheriff's Department in Harford County has not indicated that yet. They told us they tried to run it through databases and they have come up short.
Patty, you said in the commercial that if he's willing to kill a perfect stranger, he's willing to.
I did send on Monday, March. Okay, now don't be mad at me. But I did. Can I put this up here? No, it won't. On Monday, March 18th. Oh. Okay, I'll show you after this. No, I'm going to show you right now. Oops. Okay, Monday, March 18th, I sent an email to rmtips@hartfordsheriff.org. Rachel Marin Tips, that's the email you're supposed to send information. And I said, I know this is a long shot, but I noticed the man arrested in the center of the photo has a similar haircut to the suspect in the Rachel Marin case, and felt it necessary to email you in the event you would want to investigate further. These men are arrested a little over an hour away. Here's the article. That's not it. Just a moment. Breitbart. Now, where's my screen? 5 illegal aliens charged with murdering 15-year-old boy in Maryland are now accused of murdering a 15-year-old boy sometime earlier this year in Frederick County, Maryland. And then, is there not a picture? Do I have it in immersive reader? So they had... Okay, note to self. Maybe I should just get like actual glasses and stop wearing contacts. Maybe that's part of my problem. Ah, here. No, here. Okay, no, this is not being racist either. This is just an observation. The guy in the middle, he's got the same haircut, and this was like an hour away. I mean, I know it's a long shot, and that's why I said in my email, I know this is a long shot, but this is like a little over an hour away. Now, he's probably changed his haircut, but, you know, it'd be worth a cheek swab or something. So, Anyway, that was a month ago. A month ago tomorrow. They never responded. I mean, I'm assuming the guy probably changed his haircut. But I don't know. How much does it cost to run a, DNA sample? That just dawned on me. I forgot I did that. I almost didn't, but I don't want to come off as being like racist or something, but I mean, it's pretty clear the guy's Hispanic.
Kill anybody. I gotta tell you, that's terrifying, and I'm betting that's going to resonate with people who see this commercial.
I hope so, because Maryland, the town that we live in, is a very small town.
Honest to God,
and it's
got to be the guy.
unheard of to have something like this happen. And for this person to just be so blatant in broad daylight, to just grab someone and murder them, it shows that they have no respect for human life. It shows that they probably stalked and premeditatedly committed this crime. And I think it also speaks to the fact that possibly there's somebody that he's in cahoots with or something that's helping to hide him, because, or he's changed his appearance or something.
Yeah.
Because you don't just
Honest to
show
God, it
up
looks
out of
like the
nowhere
same
and
guy
then
to me,
disappear
but
out of,
my
No.
eyes
There's
play
gotta
tricks
be
on me.
After
more than
making
one
an
person.
appearance and doing an attack on both
it's probably
coasts,
just the
it's
haircut.
just, it's really unusual. Patty, I just have to ask, your daughter was the mother of 5 kids. How are those kids doing?
Yes. I think that it's very hard for the whole family. It's very hard, I believe, for her children. She was close to her children, and I do know that they are getting counseling and getting the help that they need, but I think it's going to be a long road for them.
Randolph, do you think
it's going to be a hard thing?
Yeah, it's something you never recover from ever, your entire life. It's a trauma that will be with them and with you forever, regardless of whether or not you get justice.
Look at
right?
these brave mothers.
Yeah, that's like this. That's like the hardest part. It's like, not only has my daughter been murdered, brutally murdered, but it has traumatically affected our whole family for the rest of our lives.
It's just so
like
senseless.
It's devastating. People don't realize just how hard and how devastating this really is.
Yeah, and it goes on and on. I know it happened all in August. I can't imagine even, I don't know. I just don't even know how you get through something like this.
I don't know. We have a lot of friends. Mr. Rice and his wife and his practice have been like such a tremendous support to our family, like unbelievable advocates for us. I am so grateful for them.
Randolph, do you think that there will be an arrest, Randolph, in this case?
I think there will be. I think ultimately that this guy has to be known by somebody. The fact that he was in Los Angeles, he had to have some sort of support network there. And then to come to Bel Air, where it's such a small town, and this Mon Pa trail where Rachel was murdered, there has to be some sort of support network there as well, because it's not just off of a major highway. It's really tucked back in the woods. So somebody knows him. Somebody's maybe protecting him or not saying something, but we're hoping that the reward, ultimately maybe the pressure, whatever it may be, somebody comes forward and says, I know who that guy is. They provide a name, and ultimately the police can catch him.
And if, in fact, he's gone to Mexico, which obviously that's why you're playing this ad along the towns and cities along the border, if, in fact, he's gone to Mexico, you anticipate then being able to hopefully find him there and extraditing him?
I think that's the hope, ultimately. We hope that, obviously, the U.S. authorities can catch him here. That would make it a lot easier. But if he does go to Mexico or somewhere South America, that's going to be another task for law enforcement to bring him back.
Patty, this must be a mother's mission for you. Even in death, you are going to do everything you can for your daughter.
Oh, absolutely. In our family, we don't give up on each other. I mean, families Families don't do that. You love each other and you support each other to the end. And in this case, beyond the end. We're not going to give up.
It's been 8 months.
And I think part of the reason why no one has turned them in is because maybe they're afraid for their own lives.
Yeah.
Or maybe they can't believe that this person would actually do something. Maybe they have a brother or, you know, or their best friend, and they can't believe that that's actually him.
Patty Morin, Rachel, yeah, it's such a tough road you're on.
Thanks so much for watching. Go to join and...
Okay. Isn't that terrible? 8 months. It's been 8 months since she was unalived. And they still haven't put the puzzle pieces together? Rare Aussie says, I sat on a case back in 1988 where a beautiful woman was unalived by the guy. The guy did it because she was beautiful and he couldn't have her. Look at that stupid piece of shit Gareth Pursehouse, who unalived that beautiful Dr. Amy Harwick. I'm telling you, this is horrible. But those, that article I showed you, the one I sent to the RM Tips email address, that was 5 people that had unalived a 15-year-old boy about an hour away from where Rachel Marin was unalived. I mean, I know that's grabbing at straws there, but sometimes desperate times call for desperate measures. Alrighty. Well, thank you. We made it for 2 whole hours on goofing around and testing stuff. Part 2. 8 long months that mother has waited for answers. Now we've got a mother in Milwaukee who they've got the opposite problem. They have somebody in custody. They just need to find the rest of the beautiful Sade Robinson. Oh my goodness. Stalked her for years after their break. Yeah, that Pursehouse piece of shit. I covered that trial last summer. Oh my God, I hated that man. What? She was so beautiful. She had such a huge heart. She had worked so hard. She was adopted. She put herself through school by eating fire. Through medical school, got a specialty degree, helped women who were abused, etc. And he couldn't deal with it, so he killed her after she came home from a burlesque show with her friends on Valentine's Day, early morning hours of the 15th. Oh my God, that was a really hard trial to watch. And you know what made me really pleased of the whole thing is when the trial first started, and you know, he wasn't my cup of tea, but when he was, you know, younger and buff, I mean, I guess he wasn't horrible looking, but when they turned the cameras on him for the first time and he was all puffy and pudgy and ugly, I was very happy inside. There's some justice. She was a saint. And they have, I haven't looked for a while, but you know, the doctor friend of hers, they had that statue that they wanted to put up in Los Angeles because her body was flown back to her home on the East Coast. And so her friends wanted to put together this, build this like statue that they could go to and memorialize her. And so they have like a, you know, a drawing of it, a rendering, if you will, of it with her cat. And this happened like right around the time the Rona struck the world. So they weren't able to finish fundraising for that. They were hoping last summer when the trial was going on that they would re-engage people in donating to that. I should check and see if that has been, if they were able to raise enough money and put that up. But then that way they'd have a place to go visit her. Her home was so beautiful. Oh my God. Oh my God. Just awful. Awful. Oh. Police psychologist for 12 years. I've seen my fair share of bad people. Well, you were a police psychologist for 12 years? Children, oh yeah. It's the kids. Ugh. Well, in our own ways, we all try to help. We help by sharing information, sending prayers, reaching out to people in need. Sometimes they need someone to just say hello to them. Oh, you're all a blessing. Coming together with other people and trying to help. Like I said, sometimes the non-monetary ways of helping are the most important ones. At least that's what my heart tells me. So, here we are at the end of day 2. Testing stuff and goofing around. Now that the sound is working in the background, I think I just need a brighter light. I think we're back in the saddle. That was a long 3.5 months I had to take off basically for tax season. So getting back into the swing of things. So I have some homework to do tomorrow. I want to do some investigating on how many other missing women out of Milwaukee. That has my interest perked. So I'm going to continue to work on this Sade Robinson story. I do hope that you share the information, collaborate with other people, and if you know anybody in the Milwaukee area that might be able to help. You know, when the triplets were born, we had the neighborhood, you know, like if people had babies and stuff, we'd go clean. You know, it was kind of like, you know, kind of one of those cultish kind of neighborhoods, you know, young families. But when people would have, you know, babies or whatever, we would, you know, get on like an email list and say, yes, I'll bring them chicken lasagna on Wednesday. Or, you know, if they were going to be gone for a while, you know, cut their grass or whatever. Well, when the triplets were born, the neighborhood did that for us. And so then that way we wouldn't have to worry about, you know, cooking. And, you know, if there's people, you know, in the Milwaukee area, things like that can be of great help. I mean, can you imagine? She doesn't have time to clean. She doesn't have time to grocery shop. So things like that can be really helpful too. And that doesn't, you know, it doesn't take too much to make yourself a, you know, let's just say chicken lasagna and make a little extra and bring it over if you're living in the Milwaukee area. You know what I mean? So sometimes there's things like that can help. And yes, Hope 8 Fair, it does take a village. But so that's what I'm going to be working on tomorrow. Is I wanna dig more into this story and see how we can help. Very true. It costs nothing to be kind. Sometimes people just need a hug. I'll tell you, there's a lady at the grocery store, and she is so kind. She gives me a hug all the time. It's like, I just love to come grocery shopping just to give you a hug, Jan. She's wonderful. Sometimes that's all they need. You know, she's an older lady too, and her husband's living in the sky, is what she says. He's up in the sky. You know, sometimes you just need that. She gave me a beautiful little poem the other day. It's really nice. So, all right, well, that's all I have for you tonight. I appreciate you stopping in to help me test things and get me back to normal Crime Spies mode. A smile and a hello are free. I need. Yes. Yes. See, sometimes it's just that. Well, remember when we did the Zach Anderson trial over Christmas and New Year's? Like, we were live streaming, I think, until it hit Christmas. Like Christmas Eve until like it got into Christmas. And then New Year's Eve until like an hour before it hit New Year's. And then I went on another live stream and like rang in the new year over there. And there was a lot of people that just, you know, their kids are grown. My triplets are graduating. Like that's it. My son is 21 now. He's informed me he's getting his own apartment. So sometimes that happens. Sometimes we, you know, need to collaborate. And then it just makes your heart feel good, doesn't it? When you can help. I don't know. It does for me. So, there's that. I don't really have a schedule yet, but I do appreciate you. I kind of like to fly by the seat of my pants. I do have a new outro for you, so if you wouldn't mind sticking around for like 30 seconds. And spoiler alert, there is a minion in it. It's not very fancy, but hopefully you will like it. I have lived alone now for 23 years. It's not always roses. You know, I did kind of think as the kids were growing up, like, oh, God, I can't wait till they all leave. And now it's like, you know, on the brink of them leaving. And then it's like, no, don't leave. So, yeah, it is kind of sad. They do grow up. Kind of fast, actually, now that I think of it. I'll have to work on a video for their graduation and share with you. There's a really good picture I was just thinking about the other day. We had a nanny, and she sent me a picture. I went back to work, I think, when the girls were like right around 2, and I got a picture. Jenna was her name. We had many nannies. But Jenna sent a picture of the girls. They were 2. And they had gotten into the finger paint. And they're all full of finger paint. And she's got them lined up in the kitchen on the floor. Oh my gosh. You're going to get a kick out of that picture. They're all like screaming and they got paint from head to toe. And she's like, I thought you'd enjoy seeing what we were doing today. I'm like, oh my God. But, you know, back then it's like waterproof finger paint. Who cares? So, yeah, I did work on a video when my son graduated. I'll have to do one for the girls and share it now that I'm a little bit more experienced, I guess you could say. Well, yes, because now you're going to see the new start to my outro I was working on. You know, I like to have new things, but there is a minion in it. So we will probably see you tomorrow for something. Have a beautiful day, and we'll see you soon.